Hey guys, I decided to do things a little different and I hope you appreciate it. So, to locate this video of Gary Gensler talking about blockchain at MIT before he joined the SEC and became the head of the SEC, um, he had a lot of good things to say about it. Now, as the chairman of the SEC, Gary Gensler is calling the same thing that he taught at MIT, bigging it up. Now, we might not go into the big up parts, the big up stages of this video, but you can go ahead and check out the 3 hour long boring class of Gary Gensler's perspective on blockchain. It doesn't have to be boring though. I mean, it could be enlightening, right? Anyway, I've talked long enough. Let's dive into this before we dive into the article.
Ledgers. We talked about ledgers, how critical ledgers are. In essence, ledgers are a way to keep records. And those records could either be transaction records or balance records. We'll see that Bitcoin is set up as a transaction ledger system. Later, we're going to be talking about other blockchain technologies that are set up as balance ledgers. So one should not just think immutably that there's only one way to do this, but transactions and ledgers are at the core of Bitcoin. And central banking is, of course, built on ledgers. The master ledger of the central bank, and then the commercial banks have sort of the sub-ledgers. And then you can think sometimes your digital wallet, maybe Starbucks has yet a third tier ledger. We obviously live in an electronic age already. We know this. There's been many efforts. They've all died until Bitcoin to crack that riddle that we talked about, peer-to-peer money without a central authority. And later in the semester, when we talk about what are the use cases, that's going to be the core thing. It's why I'm not a maximalist. I'm not sure in every circumstance a central intermediary is necessarily so bad. And this is not a value judgment. This is just pure money and markets and so forth. But in some circumstances, decentralization really will compete and beat the centralized intermediary. So let's talk about his little paper, which of course he was modest, or she was modest. Please remind me, we don't know who Nakamoto is or was, or a group of people. I've been working on a new electronic cash system that's fully peer-to-peer with no trusted third party. So you've seen this slide before, but a time-stamped append-only law. Just think blocks of data. You know, it's to kind of oversimplify, but it's got a name, blockchain. And I don't think, did Satoshi's paper, you all read it in the last few days? I, of course, read it again yesterday just to make sure I remembered it. I don't remember that he ever used the word blockchain. Am I right about that? Right. So the words blockchain are really have been sort of layered over his innovation. So information, blocks going on, and that leads to basically a database. But it's the blocks of data. Bitcoin right now is about 550,000 blocks, and the blocks are added on average every 10 minutes. And we'll talk about why it's every 10 minutes, and not only why Satoshi Nakamoto made it every 10 minutes, but how they maintain that. Other blockchains, like Ethereum, it's about every 7 seconds. So don't get too caught up that it's all the same. And there's some technologists here, Silvio Micali is working on Algorand, and that's even tighter, less than 7 seconds. So there's not one way. There's multiple designs on how often blocks are added. But let's start with Bitcoin. Secured by, yes, guess what? Those two cryptographic primitives, hash functions and digital signatures. We lose anybody yet? Yeah, maybe. And then there's a consensus for agreement. The whole debate usually about database.
Well, you didn't lose me, Gary Gensler. Guys, need I say more? The man obviously is in love with blockchain. So why should we now sit on the sideline of him calling blockchain a security? It's obviously a propagandized action that this man is taking to get the market to drop so that these institutions can buy up and cut out the retail buyers from this technology. Remember, this industry is a brand new industry. So we're going to be going over this article on beincrypto.com, written by Josh Adams, 17th on the 17th of April 2023. SEC Chair Gary Gensler caught shelling Algorand, now deems it a security. So I'm happy I get to prove that video right there. So let's dive into this article. The head of the Security and Exchange Commission, Gary Gensler, has been caught promoting Algorand. Critics are calling him a hypocrite. Footage has emerged as Gary Gensler, chairman of the Security Exchange Commission, promoting the cryptocurrency Algorand. Gensler, SEC chair since 2021, is superheading a regulatory crackdown on Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. So, guys, he was a chair at the SEC in 2021, but before that, those videos were filmed in 2018, 2019. Now, in 2023, this man is calling what he once called and a very great or wonderful, excellent innovation. Once he wants what the technology that this man magnified and glorified, he's now calling a security. So let's dive into this. Let me take a deep breath because I need to go to sleep. At one point, the clip, Gensler speaks highly of Italian computer scientist Silvio Macali, the project's founder. Silvio Macali's Algorand. He's a Turing Award winner at MIT. I work with. Silvio's got a great technology. It has performance. You could create Uber on top of it. Moreover, Gary Gensler appears to have been speaking highly of Algorand at multiple public events since the late 2019. Despite its anti-crypto stance at the SEC, Gensler is also listed as an instructor on MIT open learning source blockchain and money. Right. One of Gensler's colleagues at the SEC has criticized his opposition to blockchain technology. Rather than embracing the promise of new technology as we have done in the past, here we propose to embrace stagnation, force centralization, urge expatriation, and welcome extension of new technology. Commissioner Esther Pierce said on April 14. Gensler's anti-crypto reputation. Gensler knew anti-crypto reputation because Gensler was pro-crypto. Gensler, you should get poo-poo of the day, doodle of the day, man. Like, this is some crazy stuff. And with those influence that these guys have, they can just say one thing and the volatility of the market is just going crazy. Right. But Gensler, you got caught. You know what I'm saying? You got caught magnifying and glorifying blockchain. And now you're calling it a security, something that is worthless. Who are you speaking for, Gensler? Are you speaking for yourself? Are you speaking for people who are backing you? In the United States, promotion of security falls under the Securities Act of 1933 and the Securities Exchange Act of 1934. These laws regulate the offer and sales of securities, required registration of an exemption, and prohibit misrepresentation of omission of material facts. And those who fall afoul can face civil and criminal penalties, including fines and imprisonment. Last year, the SEC took legal action against reality star Kim Kardashian for touting a crypto security. The news comes on the same day that SEC named 6 crypto tokens listed on Bittrex as securities. Algorand is among them. According to the SEC, these tokens should be securities under the U.S. law because the investors expected to make a profit from them. Now let's pause and stick a pin right there because that don't make no sense. Because don't people who invested in the stock market, do you invest in the stock market and the S&P 500 and dividend stocks to gain anything from it? So are those investments in companies, are those a security? It makes no sense to me. On Monday, the SEC also announced the appointment in Inspector General Deborah H. Jeffrey, but it is not yet clear if the new official will investigate Gensler for potentially promoting Algorand as a security. These guys are gang members. They're not going to do this stuff. They're not doing that. They're not going to go after each other. They're gang members. So anyway, here's another article on the SEC, and I think we've reached enough. I'm gonna probably read up on this a little bit, and this probably will be my last article for the night before I go to bed. I'm feeling a bit tired. I've been up for a long time now. I've been working all day, been on my feet. I'm saying, and I'm kind of having a little bit of short of breath because I've been in and around dust. So anyway, one more article because I'm getting tired. Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you guys for helping me prove Gary Gensler lie. Anyway, later. You see what I see?